So if you're not here for a renewable energy policy in the Midwest, then you're in the wrong tent. So my name's Nick Hylla. I'm the Executive Director of the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. And it's my honor to facilitate this panel. We have a panel of experts that work regionally in renewable energy. A lot of solar energy talent up here, but generally broad understanding of the market and policy conditions. So I'll introduce them, and if I forget something, they'll fill in for me. So Brian Ross is director at the Great Plains Institute. Great Plains Institute does a lot of work on policy, on transition to Utility 2.0, kind of the new energy vision. Brian in particular has worked with jurisdictions in a number of Midwest states, helping them prepare their rules and processes, planning and zoning, permitting for greater solar expansion. And in particular on our panel today, he's going to be our Iowa gentleman, but he's also very familiar with the state of Minnesota. Next to him is Shannon Fulton. Shannon Fulton works at Straight Up Solar, but she's also the president of the Illinois Solar Energy Association. She has a depth of experience both in the solar business aspect, but also in solar policy, and will address a lot about kind of the lay of the land of the state of Illinois. Next to her, John Farrell. Who got to see John speak today? All right, then I'll just waive his introduction. He's already done that, but we're really honored to have him sitting here. And he'll kind of be our resident Minnesota person, but I think he can also obviously address some broader context. And then next to him is Tyler Heebner. He's the executive director of Renew Wisconsin. They really do a great job of advancing renewable energy policy in the state of Wisconsin, depth of knowledge about the state, and very active. And so he'll be our resident Wisconsin expert. This is a very diverse topic, right? And so I think, and I wanted to give this group a sense of who's in the audience and what your interests are. So I guess I'll just do just a little context, and then we'll go state by state and let the panelists take over and bring it where we go. So in general, right now, the cheapest energy on the grid is wind power. There is so much wind power in some areas of the U.S., like West Texas, that it's actually worth like 0 cents, selling for 0 cents, because there's so much wind power. Right now, the U.S. energy economy, a race to the bottom in prices, is really a battle between natural gas and wind, and it's depressing power prices, wholesale power prices. Right now, wholesale power prices in Wisconsin are around 4 to 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour, and the projection is that there will be some stepped increase. But wind is really utility scale wind in particular is really changing the generation landscape and competing with coal. And competing with gas. Beyond that, solar in its many forms, modular, scalable, no moving parts, continual price decreases, rapid deployment, is leading in U.S. New generation added. Last year, nearly 30% of all new generation added was solar, and that's a mix of customer-owned solar, business-owned solar, and utility solar. And if you saw John's presentation, we're in a very interesting time where that paired with demand response, the ability of the utility to work with customers to reduce demand, energy efficiency, storage, electric vehicles, is kind of pushing this idea of what are we doing at the state level to be proactive about growing this economy that is creating a solar jobs boom. Right now in the U.S., more than 200,000 people work in the solar industry. That's more than in oil and gas, and it's growing about 6 times as fast as the U.S. job market. So solar is proving to be kind of a big economic potential for long-term job creation. So most of this activity happens at the state level. And so today we're going to dig into the weeds a little bit with what's happening on each state, and hopefully address some of your questions. And if not, I would ask that the panelists, if you feel like there's a particular question that's asked that's a good context for what you're saying, please do so. So maybe we'll start with, let's start with Tyler over there.